Just bounce to this.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Brandon Clements, and welcome back to another tutorial here on Glasshand. So we just finished up the Substance Painter series, and I had so much fun doing that. I thought it was a really fun project. What I want from this video, we're going to talk about UVing, but I also want you to go back and check out the Grandfather Clock tutorial series that I've done. I kind of want to revive that and finish out that series because I thought it was really cool. I thought the concept work was really neat that I found. So if you have time, go back, check that out. Let me know what you think. But today what we're going to be talking about is UVing inside of Cinema 4D. And I have to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of UVing inside of Cinema. I'm just not. There's just some tools that I've used in other software, like Maya. I liked how Maya had set up some of the UV tools, but anyways, we're not going to be talking about Maya. We're going to be talking about Cinema 4D. I'm going to show you guys some pretty good tips to help you pretty much unwrap anything, no matter the complexity. So let's go ahead and get started here in Cinema. I just have two scene files. This first one, it's going to be a simple cube. Yes, a simple cube. I know you guys have probably seen a million videos like this on YouTube, but trust me, I think this will help those who are unfamiliar with even how to get started. So I just dropped in a simple cube. And in Cinema 4D, when you drop in a cube, you hit C on the keyboard or the Make Editable Objects so that you will get this handy-dandy UVW tag. So this tag describes the 2D relationship of this 3D object, okay? So if we were to take this 3D object, and we're going to jump into body paint, if we could take this 3D object and put it over into this window and make it as flat as possible in the boundaries of this 1 to 0, 0 to 1 range, what would that look like? That's what we have to be able to describe when we do UVs, okay? So let's just go ahead and get to it. So the first thing that we have to do is, we can select everything in polygon mode in Cinema 4D and Body Paint, which is fine. But what we want to be able to manipulate is the UV polygons and the UV points, okay? So we have these separate, and then we actually have the islands. So these are separate modes from the actual polygonal objects, and that can be bad and good. It can be confusing, and it can be pretty straightforward. Okay, so like when you're manipulating polygons inside of Cinema 4D, you need to be in polygon mode. Same goes for any of these other components, points, edges, item, or mesh, or whatever they call it. What do they call it? Model. Oh, they call it model in Cinema 4D. So like object mode or whatever. So then we have to be in those respective modes to be able to manipulate certain features in the 2D and 3D views. Okay, so I'm like using the move tool in the 2D view over here in Body Paint. So the easiest way to get started, let's just select all the faces, and you can see here in the 2D view that it just looks like a perfect square. And that doesn't make sense. I mean, we're from 0 to 1 boundaries, but where is this face? You don't see it update all these faces. Well, it's because they are on top of each other in the 2D view. So to illustrate that, if I was to come over to the materials and double click, we just create a standard Cinema 4D material, and then I'm going to actually activate our body paint brush, our 3D brush. And if I double click where that small X is here under the color channel, I can create a matte color texture. Okay, so we pick the resolution 4096. That's fine. It's 50% gray, and we hit OK, and we see that happen over here in the 2D view. Now I'm going to go ahead and add just another layer to this so that I can do some examples. So let's just do add new layer. Okay, so let's put, say, like the number 5. Let's draw the number 5 onto our cube. Okay, so let's just draw that 5. And if we actually apply this material, so I'm just going to jump over really quick to the startup and just drop that. Okay, so body paint UV, we get the 5 showing up on every face. Okay, the number 5. Sorry for the screen being a little glitchy when it does that. For some reason with my cards, it does that when I have the brush tool. Okay, so that's how it will look because every face in the 2D view is lined right on top of each other. That's not what we would want. That's not how we would want to actually paint this up, say if it was a crate for a game. Let's go over to the UV mapping. And here we can look at, I just selected everything by hitting Control A in the UV polygon mode. In the UV mapping tab, we have all different types of commands that we can do when we're working in the 2D view. Transforming, scaling, rotate, and moving here. And then our projections, like how are we going to project this into the 2D view. Relaxing UVs comes in when we start to stitch together points, UV points. And this optimal mapping will help us kind of reorient and, kind of optimally projecting this into a cubic fashion. So that's what I want to do. So you can do optimal cubic right here, or you can come into the projection and do cubic here. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into item mode. And sorry, not item mode. We want to be in polygon mode. And let's go ahead and hit cubic. Cubic 2, sorry. This cubic 2 will go ahead and align our faces out. And this is what you would see in most polygonal softwares. When you actually drop in a cube, you get this kind of tile format. This is very, straightforward in most software. So let's go ahead and grab our paint tool. And if we were to be on this layer here, and let's draw the number, oops, sorry. Oh, I would have to make this visible. Okay, so the number 5, oh, it looks horrible. It's, we can't work this way with it being stretched across all these faces. So let's go ahead and add another layer. And let's draw the number 2 or something, just for example's sake. So now we see that number 2 is the front face, and I believe this will be the top face. Let's see if I'm right. Yep, that's the top face. And the bottom face, I'm just writing random numbers in here. Let's put letters in here. Why not? A, B, C. So you can see how these all line up. The relationship from 2 to A to B, and then the relationship from 2 to C. Okay, so it's as if we were cutting the edges here, here, and down here, and also on these back portions, and we were unfolding them. Like the 8 would actually be transforming forward, and the A would be rotating around 90 degrees along with the B, and the C would be coming around 90 degrees. So it's I hope that makes sense to those of you who are unfamiliar with UV layouts. This is the most simple example. Okay, so this is our second example that I have for you guys. It was going to be like the sci-fi generator that I was kind of drawing out. So there's a top and there's a bottom portion to it. Let's go ahead and just focus on the top portion. Like, how can we go ahead and unwrap this? So let's go into body paint UV. One thing I need to note is that if you don't see your mesh, you need to say UV mesh show UV mesh. Sometimes that's turned off. Okay. So right now what you can see is that I have only done a projection from the top. So I did just this frontal projection, and that's how we get this kind of layout here, which is fine. This can be a good portion of the island just for the top part. There's no distortion because it's being projected from this orthographic view. What I would like to do is try to project this with 6 different cameras, from the bottom, from the top, from the front, from the left, right, and back. So we have those different cameras. The way that we can do that is still by running this Cube 2 projection. Okay, so this is what we had seen before with the cube, and this will always get us really close to a non-distorted UV layout. So when I learned a lot about UV layouts, I used to just run the automatic function inside of Maya, and then I was able to just stitch these parts back together to create a seamless, not a seamless, a good working UV space. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab our live selection, and let's just paint and see that this portion of the model here is being drawn in the 2D view, cut out in its own island. And if we actually come up and select the top portions here, you can see that all of this is being stitched together. So it's as if we took scissors and ran through here and cut everything up and then flattened it from this corner edge down onto the 2D view. Okay, so this will get us a good start, like I said, but it's not going to get us all the way there. There's some parts that are still messed up and kind of weird. So let's look at this portion that unfolds here, and then also the cavity portion of this mesh. Let's see where these guys fall. Okay, so it looks like we have the I think this bottom part is sticking out here in the middle of nowhere, which is probably not what we would like. And then we also have these guys being split into the middle portion of here. So then these two bottom faces have been put up here. Okay, so let's rearrange this. That's not what we want. It's not going to be optimal for us. We can't paint this portion when it's literally laying on top of the very tip top of the mesh. Okay, so we need to move these out of the way. I can hit W on the keyboard and use the move tool and just bring it out of that view. So now we have these two guys that are both the top and the bottom portion of the recessed cavity of this like generator. Okay, so what I would like to do is just to be able to bring this entire cavity portion into its own UV island. So let's select that. And then these two faces right here. All right, and I'm going to run the same projection, this cubic 2. All right, so now it has shot us out this here, and let's go ahead and see what has been laid out for us. So it looks like all of these are going to be the well, let's just see in the 3D view what our main faces are. Okay, so this is distorted. They're super wide, and that's not how they appear in the 3D view. In the 3D view, they're tall and skinny. Here, they're short and fat. All right, so let's go ahead into this right view, and we just want to do a frontal projection. Okay, so we can move these anywhere. When we're finished, we'll stack them up all nice and neat. So we have that portion done. Let's go ahead and select the faces on the side, like so. We can even select these faces over here and make sure we deselect all the other ones that we don't need. And we can just run another frontal projection from the front. Okay, so now we have these guys, and all we have left are the top and the bottom pieces. Okay, so theoretically we can stitch this all together however we would like. So let's do the faces that are combined here. So we're going to move this into place, and we can kind of roughly scale it. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. I know I'm a perfectionist sometimes when I do some of this stuff, and I apologize for that, especially for watching a tutorial. I know it's got to be super boring to just be like, oh, Brandon, come on, just line it up. Just get it close. Okay, so we got those put into place. And let's just go ahead and grab these guys here. So this is the bottom. This is kind of the feet for the bottom portion. An easy way to know what is the top and what's the bottom is to just be able to select the points, and then we can see here that these are the points that connect to the feet, so, or the footer I should say, or whatever. Let's go ahead and rotate this 90 degrees clockwise, so we can hit 90 in the transform tab and hit apply. Sorry there for hitting that mic stand. And then we can move it up and scale it down and just kind of move it into place. And let's do the same thing for this guy here. I believe we need to rotate this -90. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this into place roughly. Okay, and there we go. And let's just check our work. So let's make sure that we only have... Oh, it looks like we have mixed this part up. You can see here that these two have been selected in the 3D view, and in the 2D view, we only have these four. So this isn't correct. So we need to be able to flip this. We should have been able to flip it +90. So let's do that one more time. +90, and then one more time, +90. And now let's select. There we go. So we have these two selected, and we only see in the 3D view that these two are selected. So these are welded vertices. These are the UV points. This is the welded vertices in 3D. Okay, so that's why it only looks like I only have one selected, but there's two selected here. So in Maya, the thing that I loved in Maya, I wish they would have a tool that was similar to this inside of Cinema. In Maya, you could do this really cool command where it was move and stitch or something like that. Sew and move or something. Stitch and sew. That's what it was called. Stitch and sew. And what it would do is it would just like take this portion and it would move it so that the ones on this island would just snap to the ones here, and you wouldn't have any kind of distortion. So in Cinema, the thing that sucks is that when I select these and I go to UV commands and I hit, let's see, let's go to UV terrace. It moves the island. It doesn't actually move the whole island. It moves the vertices to that. So that causes some distortion. All right. So the way around that is to, let's go ahead and just UV terrace this entire portion together. So I selected all these vertices and I can hit UV. Oops. I just want to select the inner portions, and then I can hit UV terrace. Let's just do one island at a time because I'm messing this up. So let's just go back to selecting these guys here at the bottom. Okay, UV terrace. Oh, it looks like I somehow messed this up again. My bad. Apologies, guys. Let's go ahead and just flip this 90 and then one more 90. And then select them. Cool. And then UV terrace. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and select these guys. UV terrace. Select these guys. And UV terrace. And it looks like I messed up again. So one more time. Let's just select these outer portions here. And you can see that it's the inner. So this needs to be rotated. An easy way to do this is just to, instead of rotating, we could go into the transform. And let's do a -1 in the scale here. Okay. So it looks like nothing happened. But now you can see with those selected that they're the inside points. Okay, so then when I select all 6, or let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, when I select all 8, I can't count today, all of these have been selected in the viewport that we want to stitch. So again, UV terrace. Okay, sorry that took so long. It took way longer than I thought it was going to be. So there is a couple things that you may notice about how this is looking in the 2D versus the 3D view. Let's analyze it. In the 2D view, it looks like these faces right here that my mouse is going over, those look fine. But the top and the bottom, they look really oblong, whereas here they're kind of short and stubby. By default, this pin border points has been turned on. Okay, this works well for like unwrapping character faces and things like that. But for more of these mechanical type objects that are just type, kind of basic, and they don't have a whole lot of organic shape to them, we want to go ahead and turn the pin border points off, and then go ahead and run the relax. And you can see now that this is a lot more accurate to the 3D depiction in the 2D view. Okay, so imagine that we cut these edges right here and allowed these to unfold. Okay, think of it almost like paper, kind of laying out paper in a way. I've ran out of good analogies, obviously, and we're resorting to paper. So let's select these guys, and this is the back. So let's go ahead and run the relax, and you can see that it kind of rotates it a little bit. That's no problem. Sometimes it will do that. I've noticed in the Cinema 4D relaxer. I just want to go ahead and kind of relax these guys and make sure that these don't have any type of distortion in them. And you can see that they're depicting the 3D geometry a lot better. So let's relax this portion too. Okay, next step is similar to what we had just done. Okay, I would like to sew these together. So not to be confused, I said sew and then I continued my thought with sew. Oh man. So anyways, let's go ahead and connect these portions together, and you'll see how evident this is with the move and sew operation here in Cinema. It's not going to move it correctly. When I hit UV terrace, it like does this horrible stretching. Okay, and that's super annoying, but no worries, because we have this relax UV command to get us through the day. And let's go ahead and we can even select this in the 3D view. We could even hit NG on the keyboard to go into wireframe. We want to select these points that go all the way down, and let's hit UV terrace. And then we want to select these points that go all the way down on this end, and we don't want to select the ones up here. Okay, because if we had those selected in this 2D view, all this would snap over here and it'd be horrible looking. Okay, so we just want to snap that portion together. Now let's go ahead and select this big island, and let's do another relax UV and hit apply. Okay, so this is looking really good. Super cool. Let's go ahead and move it into view here. And I think this is good. Like, we have this kind of cavity portion, and it's just placed over here. It's out of the way, but obviously the texel resolution is gonna line up really nice. So if we go over to optimal mapping and we just say realign, we want to equalize the island size. We also, it's not a huge thing to preserve this orientation. We would probably benefit if this was like straight up and down and easily read. Especially if we're passing this on to other artists in our pipeline. So this island space, or this spacing size, is 2%. It's gonna look at how much room is left between the border of the 0 to 1 space and the border between the islands. 2% is pretty good. So let's go ahead and hit apply, and you can see that we already had it lined up pretty well. There was nothing that the computer could do to solve it to make it any of a tighter, any more of a tight fit for us. So these lines aren't super straight up and down, but I think that's going to be a very forgivable thing for us. So yeah, this pretty much concludes this tutorial on intro to UVing. If you follow this methodology, you could literally unwrap anything. So I wanted to show you guys how to do that. I know if you watch the Substance Designer tutorial that I had done, it shows you how to basically take that one edge that went up the back of the helmet, and you could like project it from the top view and then UV unwrap, and it would, relax UV, and it would kind of spread it out. That works really great for like helmets or, I don't know, character objects, things that are more organic. But this way that I just shown you in Cinema 4D with more mechanical type objects, it works great. You can unwrap anything this way. So thanks so much, guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I hope this was easy for you guys to understand and follow. And if you want, I can put this on Gumroad. I think I'll just do that. I do that for every tutorial. So yeah, you can go ahead and download it and kind of mess around and follow along. And if you want to leave your support there on Gumroad, please do. That would be very, very helpful for us. Also, thank you to the guys who have commented. This video was in response to a comment I have gotten from multiple subscribers and users of Cinema 4D. So thanks for the suggestion, because I definitely listen to those. So keep coming up with more suggestions. It's going to help the community. And of course, it's going to benefit from yourself to see some of these tips and examples that I go through. So thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. We'll talk to you very soon. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.